Hey all, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I really appreciate the work that you guys have done, and I really appreciate that this is a very special day specifically for you ladies. So thank you for all that you've done for us all. Without you, we wouldn't be here. Here I am down on the Arkansas River, and it's springtime here in Colorado. I love this time of year. And the reason I'm doing this video is I have a story from Mother's Day back in 2020. A local here in Florence was at work on Mother's Day night at about 4 in the morning. He was taking his lunch out of his truck and heard something very curious that lasted the whole time when he was eating his lunch. I'll let him tell his story, but what it does is it adds to this whole puzzle of what is going on here in Florence, in Fremont County, in general, down and along the Arkansas River and the other drainages here. So take a listen to this testimonial and let me know what you think on the other side. But again, thank you and happy Mother's Day, and I'll see you soon.
20, 30 yards away was this thing peeking over this pine bush.
It was a large, hairy animal, dark brown, black hair.
All of a sudden, this creature let out I want to call it a blood-curdling, growling, howling scream.
That's when I realized it wasn't my friend that had snuck up on me.
Dude, all the branches that are broken off are red.
That's crazy. There's no medulla.
You have an interesting story.
Yeah.
We met here
Florence and the Loaf and Jug in Florence.
at Loaf and Jug. I came in. I see you fairly often.
Fairly often buying soda.
And I asked about a weird story. And you said you had something.
Yeah, I had something. Around 2020 Mother's Day.
Mother's Day of 2020.
Yeah, don't remember the exact date, obviously, but I was out here about 4 a.m. just eating my lunch, sitting in my car, and started hearing howling coming from the direction behind me here.
Okay.
Well, because I've never heard anything like it before. I thought at first it was a hound dog that wasn't. Because at first, like I said, it sounded like a wounded hound dog, so I was like, oh, it must be a hurt dog over there, and then got closer and it wasn't a hound dog. It sounded deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah.
So how long? So you were sitting in your car at lunch.
Yeah.
So you're at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, 4 a.m. in the morning.
4 in the morning.
I was working graveyards at the time.
Working graveyards at the time. And so you're sitting there. Are your windows down or the windows
They're
up?
down.
They're down.
Yeah.
And
I had to get out of the car in case somebody came in. So
sure. Do you remember what it was? Weather was like that night?
it was really calm, almost like this. Not as windy right now, but
It was pretty calm.
Yeah, it was pretty calm.
Was it warm?
yeah, sort of. I think it was kind of coldish for Mother's Day.
Okay. But you're sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
Is anybody out at the time?
No, there was nobody on the road. It was middle of COVID, everything, so everybody was at home.
Locked down.
Everybody was.
So you're sitting there and you heard
A loud howl coming, like it was faint, and then it got closer. And like I said, at first I was like, it surprised me. Never heard anything like that before.
And why do you think it was? So initially you thought it was a hound dog.
Hound dog, yeah, that's what it sounded like. I thought at first, but then, like I said, it got closer, and I was like, that's not a hound dog.
Now, how long did you hear this before you started hearing it?
I want to say a minute or so, but I'm not sure how long it lasted. Like I said, it was really faint back behind me, and then got closer, and I was like, well, that's odd.
Okay, so it appeared to be getting closer and
yeah.
louder. And was it getting louder?
Yeah, like as it got closer, it got louder. I'm not sure how far behind me it was.
Okay, but it got louder.
Yeah.
And then, was it repeating? Was it just a single sound?
It was repeating. It would howl, and then like it would go high and then low, and then stop, and like little stretches in between, and start again.
So like how long? I mean, can you remember how long any of these?
I
things?
don't. It was a couple dozen times, I think, that I heard it, but I don't know how long it was.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was
Quite a while,
multiple,
yeah.
multiple times
Yeah.
of hearing this same.
Yeah, sound. Getting louder each time.
And it was getting louder.
And then it got fainter as it went farther away.
Okay. So your suspicion is that it was coming from behind us out by.
like probably past these buildings behind us here.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how far out, but I think it was probably following the irrigation dishes out that way.
Okay.
So,
Oh, very interesting.
But, yeah.
Now, what could you mimic the howl yourself?
I couldn't, no. That's not something I could do.
Have you heard anything like that before?
I heard. I went online afterwards and researched trying to figure out what it was. Thinking maybe it might be coyote or something, but it wasn't coyote. I've heard those before, so I started looking at Bigfoots, and that's when I heard the Georgia howl.
Okay.
So that was like, oh, that's much perfectly it.
Okay.
So. Yeah, and that was exactly what I heard, was that Georgia howl you just showed me.
Okay.
So it's pretty much exactly it.
And it again it
Repeated like a couple dozen times.
Really?
I tried keeping count of it during the time, but I lost track.
So it just kept
Yeah,
going.
kept going.
Was it the same howl the whole time?
Yeah,
generally?
it sounded like the same howl each time. But it wasn't like a repeated signal kind of thing.
Mhm.
But
But
like I said, it got closer and then got farther away. So
because like coyotes will make their noises, but
Yeah.
it's not the same sound.
no. This was the same howl each time.
Wow. And how long between howls do you think you had?
I want to say maybe a minute or two, maybe, but
Okay.
but
But you heard
it wasn't too long of a
too long of a
yeah,
gap. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Have you ever heard anything like that out here before?
No, that was the first time.
How did you? What did it make you feel like? I mean, were you nervous? Were you
Nervous,
scared?
yeah, kind
Good.
of nervous because I've never heard it before and just kind of hair raised.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard it. I'm like, oh.
And you were working by yourself.
Yeah.
that time? So
Worried
there's
about my-
nobody
yeah,
else.
nobody else, and I was like,
nobody
oh.
else heard this.
Yeah, no.
And
Wish I could get some corroborating evidence on that, like a police officer or something, but
nothing.
no.
So it came more or less from
Yeah.
from Sumo Golf Course down, and
Yeah.
then your suspicion is that it was heading
Towards the river.
towards the river.
That's what I think so, because it got farther away. I could faintly hear it after a while off that direction, which is towards the river. But so that's what my
Okay.
suspicion is.
So it was. So, but was it repeating the whole time?
Yeah, I felt like it was looking for something or calling.
Okay.
I don't know to what or.
But you never heard a response.
Yeah, no, never heard a response. So.
This is really interesting
Yeah.
to have it here. There are stories here in Florence
Yeah.
back from the day, but this is only in 2020. This is
Yeah.
the middle of COVID.
Yeah, middle of COVID, there was nobody else around. I think that's one of the reasons, because it was so calm. There was no activity.
Oh, interesting.
No humans really out and about.
Interesting. Even during the daytime, it was pretty darn quiet.
Yeah.
Now, people are going to say it was a mountain lion.
Yeah,
It was
no.
a bear. It was a dog.
Yeah, it wasn't a bear. Bears don't howl. It's not like that, I've heard. And then cougars around here, no.
Okay.
Because I've heard cougars around my area up in Williamsburg, but
Okay.
haven't heard a howl like that.
That's
I've heard growls and stuff, but
interesting.
coyotes make more yipping. So,
Well, when you, I want to kind of get back to
yeah.
the feeling. What did you feel like when you heard this?
Nervous. I wanted to stay in my car.
Did you?
Yeah. But I wanted to also get out and kind of record, like I said, but I didn't think about it until afterwards. Because it was
Okay.
just so shocking to me.
So it was it that shocking?
Yeah, because I was not expecting it, just...
How close do you think it came?
I want to say it was like right back here, like old buildings here, but
Really?
that's how the way it sounded. But
Did
acoustics and stuff, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to tell. But you felt like it got pretty darn close.
Yeah, pretty darn close.
Well, can you show me where you were in your car? And
Yeah.
that way we can see and what it looks like. If you like what we're doing, the encounter stories, the testimonials, the expeditions, all that stuff, interviews, let us know. Comment below, specifically subscribe and hit the notification button. It really helps with the algorithm and helps us get even more content out. So thank you very much for watching, and there's more to come.
Yeah.
This is where you were
This
sitting.
is where I was sitting when I heard it. It came from about that direction, it sounded like.
Okay.
I was in here sitting and eating my lunch.
Did you have your radio on or anything?
No, I had my car off like this.
Okay.
Just because I had to get out and help customers as they came in. And
Now that you're sitting here, do you remember anything else that happened?
no, just that it started really softly. I thought maybe it was a herd hound dog, and I wanted to go find it, being a dog lover. But then as it got closer, I was like, that's no hound.
Okay.
It got clearer, and it was like, that's a hound difference in pitch.
And you felt like it got quite close.
Closer, yeah. And then
So from here, how far away do you? If you had to take a guess, I'm not going to hold it to you, but
I wouldn't say, I really don't know, maybe not miles too far, maybe half a mile.
okay. But it came up pretty darn close.
Yeah. I thought I was going to walk out from behind the building. That's how it sounded like. But
Really?
It started going off that direction.
Okay.
Because it sounded like it said got close and it started kind of fading off, and I started hearing from over that direction.
Okay. And how much longer did you sit here hearing it, do you think?
Probably my entire lunch, about 30 minutes or so. Because I think,
You really heard it that whole time?
Yeah, I lost track of time because I was, nobody was here. I was just eating my lunch,
But
relaxing.
so that whole time?
Yeah.
Really?
Because I heard it when I first came out here to start eating, and it's like, well, I wouldn't say not 30 minutes, but about 20 minutes.
Wow. That's a long
Yeah.
time. That's not
Yeah, that's why I was like, wow.
Wow. So it came in from this way, and then
Kind of veered
and
that
was
way,
it just fading off as it went off?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as it got farther away, it started getting. I could barely hear it after a while.
Okay, but it was pretty much your whole lunchtime.
Yeah, about 20 minutes or so.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wow.
And there was nobody else out here. No
Nobody
cops
else,
drove
no.
by.
I was actually hoping someone would show up so they could do you hear that kind of thing, but nobody else showed up and nobody drove by.
Yeah.
So you heard it going off
That direction, yeah.
that direction out there.
Yeah. I felt like it was probably following the irrigation ditches, behind all those buildings and whatnot.
And out that way, that's heading east towards the river
Yeah, towards the river, yeah.
and the ponds.
Yeah, the ponds. And
That's very interesting that it lasted that long.
yeah. Like I said, it felt like it was looking like, I don't know where it was walking from, but it felt like it was heading towards the river, but it was calling.
Though. You felt like it was
Yeah.
calling out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Man, I wish I could have heard that.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. Just because it's so hard, but you really felt like it was the Ohio howl.
Yeah, the Ohio, yeah, not the Georgia howl, sorry. Or Ohio howl, yeah.
Interesting.
That's why I looked up and was like, yeah, that's definitely it.
Do you know of anybody else that has had any
A
other
few
weird
people,
stuff?
but the one I knew for sure moved away. He's in Texas now, so.
What do you know what
Person one.
story
Well, he
was?
kept seeing stuff thrown at him in the river and stuff. He would do a lot of night fishing over there.
Oh, is
So-
Person one.
the fisherman?
Yeah, the old guy.
The old guy, yeah, he moved
Yeah.
to Texas,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So-
he told you about having stuff thrown
Thrown at him, or seeing footprints and hearing something rustling in the bush.
Yeah, no, he told me a couple of very curious
Yeah.
stories down there as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but he went to Texas now,
Yeah.
so it's like, gee.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, thank you
Oh,
very
yeah,
much
you'll
for
have to-
taking the time and
Happy
sharing
to
this story.
Happy to share.
No, it's interesting. There is a lot of stories around here. So
Yeah.
Thank you. You can can see the Loaf and Jug red roof right above there. About maybe a quarter mile away. This is a light industrial area that nobody comes to. It's pretty open. And let me just show you. Where he said it sounded like it was hollering from and walking down here. Now, if that's the case, it's very interesting. And then it would have passed by this here. This campground is quite new, but there's the irrigation ditch right there. Well, I'm driving through the RV park and I asked all the locals here, they've been here the longest, but nobody's been here since COVID of 20. So nobody here has heard anything or has any curious stories. So, but I will continue searching. Well, I have surveyed a bunch of the residences in that general area, asking people if they've ever heard anything curious, seen anything curious, anything like that. And most of them honestly said no, never have. I did have one. I stopped by and they said, yeah, we've heard some weird stuff off in that distance. And when I played them the Ohio Howl, he said, yep, that's what I heard. Yes. But it's just interesting that they've both heard it in the same area. Now, what else is very interesting about these people is they have a pit bull. Now, they didn't want to be interviewed. They want to keep themselves anonymous, and that's fine. But they told me that I asked, does your pit dog ever go nuts? Does he ever get agitated? And he said, oh yeah, they'll it's a pit bull. And very protective. And when they, it's been inside the house being agitated, they'll open the door, the dog will go out, hackles up, and go out to the edge of the deck and get silent, but actually hackles up, looking out over the area into the darkness, peering out in the darkness. Doesn't dash out there barking, doesn't go super aggressive, but will go into super protective mode and attentive mode, listening and paying attention out there. But which strikes me as odd is, pit bull, they can be very protective and aggressive and, go out there. But this one hasn't gone out. It's just simply sat there on the deck, listening and observing. I find that to be really curious. So I will continue asking around and see if there's any other stories in the area. And if you have had an encounter story here in Florence, Fremont County, Colorado, or anywhere else in that general, let us know. encounters@modernexplorer.me. I'd love to document your story. And keep tuned because I've got more coming up. I've got other stories I'm tracking down. And I'll let you know. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.